The Woodshop is sponsored by Chefware Kits and Easy Wood Tools. Alright, welcome back. This is the long version for the wristwatch clock. Let's go ahead and get started, and I'll try and give you as much detail as I can. I don't have plans, I just went off of pictures and made this. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, there's only a little bit of turning that actually needs to be done with this project. And you could probably just do it with a Forstner bit, but I want this little raised lip around there, so I'm going to turn it. So I drilled a 2-inch hole in it with a Forstner bit, and I'm going to mount that on the chuck, and I'm going to recess the clock in there, and I want a little lip around the outside of it. So that's all I'm going to do on the lathe. Alright, so the size is going to vary depending on what kind of clock you get. This one right here is 2 3/4, and so I'm starting out with a 1.25 inch thick piece by 5 by 5.5, but that really, I'm going to cut away most of this. I'm just going to go ahead and recess this in here and then take it on the bandsaw and cut out the sides here, so most of this will be gone. Alright, so I'm going to come in and countersink that thing. Eventually I'm going to punch that all the way through, but I'm going to turn it around to do it. So that's going to sit in there just like that. It has these little clips on the side, so they'll press in and lock it in. I'm not sure how well they work, but that's pretty good there. And maybe I'll put a little recess right around the back so they can lock into it. That would be good. I can do that real quick. With what? Let's do it with the part or a screw chisel. Alright, so there's a little bit of a lip there. Hopefully that'll work out. Alright, now I'm going to bring this down and leave a little rim around the outside, but I need to know exactly what that is. So run a pencil line around that. Not sure how far I can go in there, man. I could probably go in a little bit more. Let's do that. I'm going to go in and see if I can't get it to get the clock to sit flush. If you going in the center first, the jaws aren't in there, so if you did pop through, it wouldn't hit the jaws. So that's why I did it that way. There we go. All right, let's run a line around this. like I said before, I'm going to cut. The only thing I'm going to have is two little pieces right here. So this, I don't even need to worry about getting out there and getting fancy with that. I'm going to bring it down a little bit more though. Alright, so I have that ring sticking up proud, and it actually sticks out a little bit all the way around. So it's what it looked like in the picture, so I'm just going to go with that. I think it adds a nice little touch there. Okay, I'm going to actually bring these off real quick and then sand the whole thing, and that way I'm not fighting those when I'm sanding it. Alright, I have the lathe speed down to about 150, and I'm just sanding it with walnut oil. I ran out of mineral oil and I have a bunch of this, so. So I just go through each of the grits like that. I wipe the oil off. All the sawdust is trapped in it, and the piece of sandpaper. And then I just keep going through the grits like that. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and bring that down to get rid of that tenon, and then I'll cut it out on the bandsaw. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and mark out where the lines are and cut it on the bandsaw. All right, so here's the picture I have of the face of the clock. So these little parts here curve around. So I just took and traced around like that. And I went all the way around because the sides actually come around too there. Then I'm going to, it looks like these things come in just a little bit there. So, and I'm just gonna trace it out a little bit and then measure everything and adjust them so they're even. But let's figure that out from the sides there. All right, I had to adjust it a little bit. So I put the outer mark there right on the edge of this, or really close on both sides, and then I measured everything and it's even on both sides. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it out, and I'm just going to do a roughing, so then I can sand and work on it and keep measuring. It'll be easier once I get it cut out to keep measuring this because I don't have plans. But let's cut it out on the bandsaw, and then the fun part, sanding. All right, I'm going to go ahead and hand sand all of this, and then we'll work on the band. And I need to drill holes through this. I'm going to bring the thickness down a little bit more, but I need to drill a hole for some dowels there. Get it cleaned up first. All right, so I'm going to work on the bands now. So I'm gonna do the long one first. This is 2 inches by 5.5, and then I should be able to get the other little one out of a chunk right here, but it's gonna be about, looks like about half the size. All right, so it looks like it goes flat, comes back, I don't know, 1.5 inches or so, and then starts to curve up. And I'm pretty sure you can probably, you know, adjust most of this. So we'll bring it up like that, and just bring it out here. I'm just going to make it the whole length of the board, and then trim it down if I have to. Alright, just like that. And then I should be able to get the other little one. So it just kind of, it curves the whole length of it, right? So let's start up here and just make kind of a arc like that. I don't know, when I get ready to put this thing together, I don't know, it may be super critical, but I don't know. I'll figure it out. Alright, I'll cut those two out on the bandsaw, and the width here, there's 2.5 inches in between the actual watch face, the little tabs. So I cut this a little bit bigger than 2.5 so I got some room to sand. Alright, I don't have a real clear picture of the bands, but it definitely looks like they taper down quite a bit. So I just came in an inch, and I'm going to start bringing them down. And what I did was I came in half an inch on the sides, but this one here definitely, it needs to come down to more of a, just a round little tip there. And then the one with the buckle can probably stay somewhere in there. I'm not sure. I'm just going to have to play around with it as I go, but we'll just work on getting this material off here and try and taper it down smooth, bring it down more if we have to. That one's definitely gonna have to come down a little bit more, but I don't have any plans, right? Alright, and we're gonna wanna bring this down something like that. I know you're cringing right now, right? Should be gluing spreadsheet to this. Alright, so on this one, it actually needs to be square so that the buckle can go in right there. So I need it squared up at the very last bit. But I'm just gonna kind of, I'll use the bandsaw to cut these pieces off, and then use the oscillating sander to smooth it out. Alright, so I just cut those out on the bandsaw, and then took it on the oscillating sander and just kind of shaped it a little bit to make them even. I went ahead and marked center on this. I'm going to cut out a little notch for the belt hole, or for the band hole, and then I put in 3 holes. There's one right there, one there, and then one at the end. So I'll go ahead and drill those out, and then cut that out on the bandsaw, that little notch there. Alright, so I'm going to use the waist piece that I got out of cutting these out for the buckle, and it's just straight. So it's a little bit big, but I'll bring it down. I'm going to use it because it's got to go over this part right here. You can see that in the picture there. Alright, so I'm just going to trace that out and cut it out on the bandsaw. And then it's way too thick too. Alright, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and just sand that down until it fits nice and snug, and then I'll sand these 2 ends down here too so it fits all together. And then I'm going to have to adjust this so it slides in there, and that's just a bunch of sanding, the fun part. Alright, I'm getting everything close, everything fits in here. And then this will go on there. I need to drill holes for that. I think I'm going to straighten that out a little bit right there though. But then this will come through and lock goes this way. And this will come through and lock right in there. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and make a little pin now. And it's just a little curved piece, and then it has a hole in there that holds it all together. Alright, just finishing up that one. So that'll go in there. Going like that. All go together. So I'm going to drill. Okay, so I'm going to drill for the dowels. On these, I'm going to use a bigger brad point here. It's not going to, I'm afraid it's going to rip that thing out. So I'm going to use a small one. I don't have one in between, but I'm going to use that one and bring this dowel down to just fit in that side. But this one, these have enough meat on them where I think it should be okay. But I need to set up a little riser on my drill press so that I'm drilling flat, and because I don't want these things to bust. All right, let's go do that. All right, so I just took a block of wood, and put a piece of plywood here so that I could slide this over and drill out for these. So just gonna do that. All right, so I got those, and I didn't drill them all the way through. They're just going to have little pieces in there. So now I need to switch and do the little one. All right, I have everything drilled out. I was really worried about that these were gonna break, but they didn't. That's awesome. All right, so the dowel's just a little bit too big, so I'm gonna put that on the lathe and just run some sandpaper over it till it fits. And I don't have any smaller dowels, so I might sand down a piece of it to run all the way through here, and that's just gonna go together just like that. All right. Okay, so there's just a lot more hand sanding, and when I get the dowels down, I will come back and assemble the whole thing. But basically all it is just running some sandpaper over that. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the outside of it here so that these actually still spin. All right, I'll be back when I get it close. I just need to hand sand down all these little pieces. I want to do that before I put the finish on it. All right, I'm just finishing up sanding, and I had to hit those with the oscillating sander a little bit because when I put the dowels in, they hit, so I had to notch that out a little bit. But other than that, everything went together good. I'll just finish up here and then we'll put the dowels in. A lot of sanding. All right, I used a flush cut saw so that it was nice clean cut on these, and I'm just going to glue them in, and I try to cut them as close as I could so there's not much sanding afterwards. So let's go ahead and put those together, and I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back side of it here, and that way they can still be adjusted. All right, I'm going to let that set up for about an hour while I take this dowel. I'm going to just put it on the lathe, put it in the chuck, and just sand it down to fit that size there, because I don't have anything smaller. All right, the glue's set up on these, and look, they don't come together. They're hitting on the back side here. All right, I need to sand that whole lip off so I can get them closer. This isn't gonna go over that. So, all right, I'm gonna sand this off so they close a little bit more, and then I'll put this. I sanded that down, so that'll fit in there, and then I'll put that on. More sanding. All right, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on each of the dowels here and slide it back and forth until it catches on this part. that's the dog. All right, so I got the little dowel in, put a little bit of glue on it, and I can actually get it apart. So, and then you can adjust it like that. Look at that. Be a good looking watch. That's a major bling. All right, I'm gonna let that set up for just a little bit. I'll cut it off with the saw and then sand all of the little dowels flush and put a finish on it. All right, I just sanded up all the little dowels so they're all flush and smooth. I took the air compressor and blew the dust off, and I'm just gonna put some mineral oil or some walnut oil on the whole thing. All right, I hope you enjoyed the long version of this. The clock is 4 inches wide and 14.5 inches long. And I was thinking too, you could hang it on the wall. All right, as always, thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe.